Hi everyone, Vacha here from recordingstudio9.com, and thanks for joining me again with a quick review of an equalizer by Soundtoys named SIE-Q. Now this equalizer is actually free until 13th of October, and after that it'll be $129. So hopefully you are watching this in time for you to be able to download it for free. And if you want to find out about lots of free, great VST plugins, EQs, compressors, and a whole heap of other, VST plugins which are given away for free, quality ones, well, you better head to my website, which is recordingstudio9.com, and register as a subscriber there. And every time I find out a great plugin, I know there's lots of free plugins available everywhere, but I pick and choose. So if you like to find out really good ones, especially the ones who are free for a limited time and they go with their normal price, like these ones, quite expensive, $129. So do subscribe to my website, and you will actually get an email every now and then, every time I come up and find out about great plugins. So that's recordingstudio9.com. Make sure you visit there. So let's get on with SIE-Q. I think that's how they sell it, SIE-Q. It's a really great plugin. It's modeled from a Siemens hardware, which apparently it existed back in 50s and 60s. So I thought I'll give it a try and let you hear a little bit about it. I'll tweak some of the knobs and some of the things, and then we can have a look at some of the spectrograms. And then I will talk about something that I have discovered, which I'm not sure if that is because it's a model from an old, 1950s and 60s system, or something in the plugin, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I've got a song which I recorded a while back, pre-mastering. So I thought it's a good example to use it and see if I can use the SIE-Q to come up with some EQ and EQ the song. So let's have a quick listen of the song. This is all bypass. There's no EQ or anything else.
सकते तेरे बिना क्या वजूद मेरा हम तेरे बिन अब रह नहीं सकते तेरे बिना क्या वजूद मेरा तुझसे जुदा
Okay, so that's the raw final mix that I had done of the song. It hasn't been mastered yet. Let's turn the CQ on, and let's see if we can fiddle around with some of the knobs. Well, the low is actually, like a low shelf EQ with gain up to 15 and minus 15 dB. And the mid, you can actually just select the frequency from 700 hertz, 1 kilohertz, 1.5 kilohertz, and so on up to 5.6 kilohertz. And then you have minus 8 to plus 8 gain. There's no Q, it's a fixed Q. And then you have a high shelf that you can have minus 15 to plus 15 gain or reduction. And then they have added a drive, which is basically some harmonics add-on other than it's not just normal gain. It's also doing some harmonics in there as well. So now it's turned on. Let's have a listen and see what I can do with it. Just play around with some of the mid frequencies. Just gonna watch out for the vocals in this area here.
हम तेरे बिन अब रह नहीं सकते तेरे बिना क्या वजूद मेरा
About 3.5, I think.
हम तेरे बिन अब रह नहीं सकते तेरे बिना क्या वजूद मेरा से जुदा
Did I take down some of
हो
the...
जाएंगे तब खुद से ही हो जाएंगे जुदा क्योंकि तुम ही हो अब तुम ही हो जिंदगी अब तुम
Let's bypass it.
हो चैन भी मेरा दर्द
Back on.
भी मेरी आशिकी अब तुम ही हो
It really brightens it up. So even with a very subtle movement, I'm just sort of adding 3 dB on 3.5 kilohertz and maybe about 2 dB on the high shelf and reduced about minus 3 dB on the low end. It automatically really brightened up the song, and then, you know, it's really nice and clear already. But as I was testing it previously, I discovered that even with the high shelf, as you know, this song has, you know, high claps. I will be able to turn it on, and it even though it gets really up in higher frequencies, it doesn't really distort. It doesn't turn it into harsh, so it's got something really nice in there. So let's have a...
तेरा मेरा रिश्ता है कैसा एक पल दूर गवारा नहीं तेरे लिए हर रोज है जीत तुझको दिया मेरा वक्त से कोई लम्हा
So as you can hear, even at 15 dB of gain, it's really bright and too bright for my ears. It's still not as harsh. It's still, you know, listenable. So that's really good. I mean, as far as the quality of the equalizer, it's really great. You know, a couple dBs here and actually solve the problem. And, you know, I probably need maybe a little bit of compression to balance everything out. As you can see from the graph, from the mixing, you know, it's got nice dynamics, but a bit of compression that will level it up and make it really nice and clean. So it's really nice EQ to use, probably on your master bus, or maybe on a main bus if you've got the drums, or if you have other instrument buses, then you can put it on the bus. So let's have a look at the drive as well, see what that sounds like.
तेरा मेरा भी मेरा दर्द भी मेरी आशिकी अब तुम ही हो
Okay, as you can see, once I drive it up to 9 dB or 12 dB, it's already getting distorted. It's got, I guess, a built-in limiter, to what I understand. So that's why it's, even though it's clipping, as you can see, it's actually clip plus 22 dB, but I gave, you know, 12 dB of gain. And so it's got some limiter in there, then controlling it to a certain degree. Okay, so that's all fine, and it sounds really great, fantastic, but I actually discovered a problem when I was looking at my graph. Here you go, this is my spectrograph, and see if you can notice different when I actually turn it off. This is in bypass, and turn it back on. Notice this bit here? It's about nearly 200 hertz or thereabouts at minus 60 something dB, this curve. It just comes on and off. To what I believe, that's a DC that's coming in. So it doesn't matter what so as you can see, 15 dB gain, and that it's actually getting lower, but not when I actually reduce it. I'm not sure how that works. I guess the DC is changing. So yeah, so it doesn't matter what other knobs I play around with, and change. It does not change unless I add the drive. It goes a little bit lower, maybe by 5-6 dB, and otherwise it's there. Now to experiment to find out what it was, I did add a DC filter in my chain, FX chain. So I've got the CQ, a DC filter, and my frequency spectrum, and I'll have adjustment there as well for volume. So if I, now you can see how it's got that sort of noise there. If I enable my DC, that disappears. So obviously there is some DC signal in the audio chain, and it's definitely from the CQ. As you can see, if I enable it, after the CQ, it disappears, and if I disable that, obviously there's nothing there. And as soon as I enable SIE-Q, then it comes back again. Now to discover, let's add some volume, shall we? And as you can see, I can certainly, can certainly see increase in volume. And I can hear some clicking sounds as well. So 120 dB of gain, and that's already way above 0 dB. So there's certainly something going on there. And even if I use a different metering, you can see it's right there again as well. This is from Melda Productions, the loudness analyzer, very useful tool. It lets me analyze how loud my music is and control it and give it a bit more dynamics if it's too much. And you can see there is minus 63 dB of noise. As soon as I bypass it, it disappears to minus 297 dB. But as soon as I turn it on, it comes back on again. I mean, it's inaudible because it's very low DC level, but my spectrum saying it's actually going up to 100 hertz. So not sure, or 30 dB anyway, down to my 120 decibel. It's 30 hertz. So definitely, if you are using SIE-Q, try not to use it on every channel, or if you do, make sure you put a DC filter afterwards so that that signal is not amplified. So there you go. I thought I'll share that information with you. Not sure why there is that noise there. Anyway, till next time, cheerio.